If you constantly felt like a fraud, that any success you had was just luck or a fluke, and you lived in a family or relationship where your worth was repeatedly undermined by whoever held power, you're not imagining things. Maybe you got a promotion at work and your first thought wasn't celebration, but panic that they'd figure out you didn't deserve it. Or you accomplished something you worked hard for, but instead of feeling proud, you felt like you somehow tricked everyone into thinking you were capable. This gnawing sense that you're not as competent as people think you are, it didn't come from nowhere.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
You walk in tired and hungry, one bad dinner away from losing it. You don't like to cook. You don't want more takeout. You just want something good. That's why there's Dish by Blue Apron. Pre-made meals with at least 20 grams of protein and no artificial flavors or colors. From fridge to fork in 5 minutes or less. Keep the flavor. Ditch the subscription. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
Jumpstart your January goals at Whole Foods Market. They have hundreds of yellow sale tags for feel-good savings across the store. Explore sales on sustainable wild-caught sockeye salmon fillets, organic boneless chicken breasts, and many more quality finds to support your wellness journey. In fact, Whole Foods Market is the only certified organic national grocer. Shop Whole Foods Market with so many ways to save all month long. Terms apply.
Welcome back to the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Podcast. I'm Lynn, your host. Today we're talking about imposter syndrome as it shows up for scapegoats. That persistent feeling that you're a fraud waiting to be exposed, even when you're genuinely skilled and accomplished. This is a classic experience for people who were scapegoated in their families or relationships. When someone constantly undermines your worth, dismisses your abilities, and treats your successes as accidents or undeserved, you internalize that voice. You start believing that maybe they're right. Maybe you really don't know what you're doing. Maybe you really aren't as capable as others think. Imposter syndrome in scapegoating dynamics isn't just regular self-doubt. It's a learned response to being systematically devalued by someone who needed to keep you feeling small and unreliable. The person who scapegoated you had a vested interest in your self-doubt. When you question your own competence, you're less likely to challenge their authority or hold them accountable for their behavior. Think about how this works. When you doubt your own perceptions and abilities, you become easier to control and manipulate. If you don't trust yourself to be right about anything, how can you trust yourself to call out their bad behavior? If you believe you're fundamentally flawed or incompetent, their treatment of you starts to seem justified in your own mind. This dynamic serves whoever needs to stay in the superior position. By keeping you feeling like an imposter, they maintain their role as the competent one, the reliable one, the one whose judgment matters. Your successes become threats to that narrative, so they get minimized, dismissed, or reframed as luck. You might have experienced this as a child when a parent responded to your good grades by saying you'd never amount to anything anyway, or when your achievements were ignored while your mistakes were magnified and remembered forever. Maybe your ideas were routinely shot down as stupid, only to have someone else get praised for suggesting the same thing later. In adult relationships, this looks like a partner who constantly questions your decisions, dismisses your professional successes, or makes you feel like you don't really understand your own field of expertise. They might undermine your confidence by pointing out every small mistake while never acknowledging your competence. Among family members, you might have been the one whose opinions didn't count, whose successes were minimized, whose failures were proof of your fundamental inadequacy. Meanwhile, others in the family could do no wrong, even when they made obvious mistakes or showed poor judgment. The cruel irony is that scapegoats often develop exceptional skills because they have to. When you're constantly criticized and blamed, you learn to be hyper-vigilant about your performance. You become detail-oriented, responsible, and capable because survival depends on it. But instead of recognizing these strengths, you learn to focus on imaginary flaws and shortcomings. The imposter syndrome you carry isn't evidence that you're actually incompetent. It's evidence that someone needed you to feel incompetent. There's a big difference. When you got that job, earned that degree, or accomplished something meaningful, you did it through your own efforts and abilities. The voice in your head saying you don't deserve it or you fooled everyone isn't your voice. It's the internalized voice of whoever needed to keep you down. Real incompetent people don't typically worry about being incompetent. They assume they're fine. People with genuine skills and abilities are often the ones questioning themselves because they care about doing things well and they've been taught to doubt their own perceptions. The person who scapegoated you didn't want you to recognize your actual capabilities because that would threaten their position. If you knew how competent you really were, you might stop accepting their treatment. You might start expecting better. You might realize that their behavior toward you was never justified. Here's what's true. Feeling like an imposter was not your fault or a reflection of your reality. It was a consequence of being targeted by someone who needed you to feel inferior and insecure. Your accomplishments are real. Your abilities are real. The doubt was manufactured. You weren't born questioning your every success or feeling like a fraud. Those feelings were planted and cultivated by someone who benefited from your self-doubt. Every time you achieved something, they found ways to make you question it, minimize it, or feel guilty about it. That's not normal. That's not how supportive people respond to others' successes. When someone consistently makes you feel like you don't deserve your accomplishments, that says everything about them and nothing about you. The work now isn't about convincing yourself you're competent. You already are. It's about recognizing whose voice is behind the doubt and questioning whether that voice deserves any authority in your life anymore. So here's something to think about. When you look back on your life's achievements or moments of competence, how much of your self-doubt came from the voice of the person who needed you to feel like a fraud rather than from objective reality? Thanks for being here today and for doing this work. I know talking about scapegoating brings up a lot, and I'm honored you're trusting me with this part of your journey. Before we wrap up, I want to make sure you know about a couple of things that might help. If you're working through the grief that comes with family estrangement or realizing who these people really were, I've put together a grief recovery workbook that walks you through that process. It's designed specifically for those of us grieving relationships that looked nothing like what we thought they were. You can grab that at waketheelephant.gumroad.com, and for additional resources, head over to our website at movingforwardafterabuse.com. This is Lynn, and this has been another episode of the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Podcast. I'll see you in the next one. This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. The content shared is not a substitute for professional mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you are experiencing a mental health crisis, please seek help from a qualified professional or contact a local crisis hotline.
Big news! Boost Mobile is now sending experts nationwide to deliver and set up customers' new phones at home or work.
Wait, we're going on tour?
Not a tour. We're delivering and setting up customers' phones so it's easier to upgrade.
Let's get in the tour bus and hit the road.
No, not a tour bus. It's a regular car we use to deliver and set up customers' phones at home or work.
Are you a groupie on this tour?
We deliver and set up phones. It's not a tour.
Oh, you're definitely a groupie.
Introducing Store to Door. Switch and get a new device with expert setup and delivery wherever you're at.
Delivery available for select devices purchased at boostmobile.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. JD Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store and online. And now, the more you buy, the more you save on beds, bases, and more. Limited time. For JD Power 2025 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Check it out at the Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.